Hey everyone, Gaijin Goomba here with another Goomba Rage segment. I do apologize ahead of time. I caught a really nasty cold before heading out to Consplosion, so I'm going to sound a little bit raspy, but I'm going to power through it. So, something that a lot of people have been talking about backhandedly, but no one really seems to go into a whole lot of depth, is what is it about Mario that's kind of just losing its strength? Some people are saying that the market's oversaturated with Mario. There's a handful of things that people are saying, and what I'm kind of raging against is something that not a lot of people have talked about, and that's atmosphere. Atmosphere is something that ever since the very beginning of Mario himself it's been really good. It's what sucked a lot of us in, whether we really thought so or not. And I kind of want to go down the list and try to explain why I feel this way. So we start off with Mario 1 and Japan Mario 2. Or what we call the Lost Levels. The main theme, it was catchy, but I don't know if you could say that it really pulled us in or not. But the things that really got our attention, in my opinion, at least when it came to people my age at the time, was the swimming levels, and particularly Bowser's Castle. The swimming levels had that atmosphere of, it was a water level, but the music, the background, everything kind of pulled you in, and it got you absorbed into the world. And Bowser's Castle did that exceptionally well. The black backdrop, a lot of people could say, well, that was just really uncreative, or there was the limitations of the hardware. I think they really did that on purpose, because there's this sense of unknown. You don't know what's back there. It's dark and mysterious. When I was playing Mario All-Stars and they actually had the background, I felt like it kind of took away from the experience, because you never knew what was coming. And then when Bowser's Fireball started coming at you towards the end, where you would fight him on the bridge, that was a huge mood setter, because you knew something was coming. You were about to fight the last guy, Bowser himself. And though those fireballs really did help build up tension, and now it just feels like it's kind of overused. Excuse me. And then there's Mario 2, and like our Mario 2, or what Japan would call Mario USA. And I think that kind of pulled us in because it was just so wacky-snacky out there. The universe was kind of weird. It seemed to have this Middle Eastern vibe, but then it had this like sky vibe, and then there were whales, and the bosses kind of didn't really make any sense, and there really wasn't anything built on it, and the last guy was a giant frog. And a lot of people even to this day still want to say, well, this is just a huge ripoff because it's just a palette swap game with nothing but Mario characters introduced. But I'm going to agree with Bob on this one, is that if we didn't have this kind of Mario, it would be hard for Mario to do anything outside of the Mushroom Kingdom, which has worked out pretty well. So Mario 3, the creation of the worlds and the themes of those worlds really pulled you in from the very, very beginning in Grass World all the way to Dark World. Every single level had a theme, and within each stage, that theme was made present. When you were going to the pipe world, it was nothing but piranha plants and pipes. That was there. The desert world, had nothing but deserts, but it felt a little bit more varied. Like, there was an actual pyramid that you had to go into, at one point, and that there was a sand pit level with the angry sun and all that, and that kinda just really pulled you in, and Dark World was amazing. Dark World really felt like hell, which is what you kinda went through in order to get to Bowser. It was mesmerizing, and I think that's why people really like to call it the best NES game ever, is because it had such a huge scope, and it just really pulled you in with its atmosphere. And then you've got Mario 4, and the highlights of those that really, in my opinion, pull you in are the cave levels, the castle levels, but especially the ghost house levels. Those were freaking terrifying as a kid. The game was eerie and kind of dark even. And then our heads got blown apart with Mario 64. Every single level, even when some of the levels felt like they were repeating, like the snow levels. Everything in that atmosphere just pulled you in. You really kind of felt like you were there. And even Mario Sunshine, which a lot of people say really isn't that good of a game, whatever. I freaking loved it. Of course, I think that putting a jetpack in any platformer is just gonna uplift the experience. But regardless, the setting was a vacation setting. And everything about every level and the hub world gave you that vibe of a vacation setting. So whether you thought the setting was stupid or not, it still, in my opinion, did a great job of expressing that vacation-y feeling. Then you've got Mario Galaxy. I don't even have to say anything about Mario Galaxy 1 or 2. The orchestral scores, the atmosphere, and by that, the background. It pulled you into the space setting, but not like a super sci-fi space setting, but this really wondrous, you don't know what goes on beyond the stars kind of feel. And even with New Super Mario Bros., the original for the DS, it knew what it was. It was a throwback to the traditional style of Mario. The music in its style was presented that way. Everything about that just felt like, oh, this is an obvious throwback, and it was really good. Not to mention, I believe that is the only Mario game where Bowser actually dies. Yeah, if you haven't played it, spoiler alert, he actually dies. And it's up to Bowser Jr. to basically fight off Mario and resurrect his dad. It was really creepy the first time I saw it, but again, it was an atmospheric thing and it really pulled me in. But now we've got Super Mario 3D Land. And honestly, I really didn't like that game. I didn't like, I mean, to quote some very well-known people, it's fun, but that's it. And I think what's missing is that atmosphere. In my opinion, Mario 3D Land was just, you're going around an obstacle course that has nothing to do with the world that you're in, the atmosphere that you're in. You could literally go from a sea level to a water level, or, excuse me, a water level to a lava level, immediately to an ice level. There was no consistency, and you didn't even feel like you were doing anything important. You were just navigating an area. And some people liked that, some people wanted that. I myself kinda don't. There was no pull-in. There really didn't feel like there was anything atmospheric, and I'm sure there's gonna be lots of you that are gonna disagree with me on that, and that's fine. This is just what I'm observing. And then when it comes to the other new Super Mario Brothers, Wii through Wii U and arguably, the Luigi edition. I haven't played that one because I just got sick. Just sick of the whole thing. New Super Mario Brothers for the Wii U was disappointing to me because it just felt like a whole lot of nothing. It was like you were just going through the phases. All of the music just really felt recycled for one. And when it came to the fortresses, the castles, and even the ghost houses, surprisingly, I felt really put off. It felt too cheesy to really pull you in, and I don't know if anyone else felt that way, but man, I sure did. I guess for me, ever since New Mario Bros. Wii, on through, not the 3D platformers, with the exception of 3D Land, nothing was a threat. Nothing pulled you in, nothing got you sucked into the game. I mean, that's just how I felt with it. The flowers were dancing, the Koopas were dancing, the Goombas were dancing. It was all so adorable. But it was nothing but. You know, even in Super Mario World, where things were a heck of a lot more cheerful in a lot of different ways, there was still a kind of threatening feeling about everything. But when all of the characters are dancing to the music that's such a fourth wall breaker. So that pulls you out. And just everything's too happy and too giddy and quite frankly childish. And I suppose that's why it just didn't work for a lot of people. And I feel like not enough people have been able to sit down and really explain what it is to them that Mario is missing nowadays when it comes to their games. And I really do think it's the atmosphere. You know, I played the demo of Mario 3D World. And after sitting back and thinking about it, I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. The game is fun. But that's all it was. It didn't feel super challenging. And crying out loud, it didn't feel immersive at all. It just felt like Mario 3D Land, and I just didn't enjoy 3D Land. 3D Land was challenging. 3D Land was really, the second half of the game was incredibly hardcore. But if that's all it is, if there's nothing to immerse the player in, like the older games did, how can we get invested into this game? And maybe this is just me speaking as an almost 30-year-old, but one of the things that I love about games is the ability to get immersed in them. And when you can't get immersed in them, the experience just falls flat. So, really guys, that's all I got. I just really think that Mario nowadays is just, it's not this big lost cause like a lot of people are claiming it to be. There's still a lot here that can be done with the franchise. It's just, there needs to be atmosphere, there needs to be subtlety. And I would even say at this point, there needs to be more character development. Luigi, in my opinion, is starting to become a very popular character, possibly more popular than Mario, because he finally has an established character, and people can gravitate towards that. You know, look back at the Mario sports games. You will see tremendous amounts of characterization with these characters. Daisy calls Luigi sweetheart. You know, so that pairing is confirmed as far as I'm concerned. Bowser has a lot of character. Even the minor characters have a lot of character. And ironically enough, Mario just kind of comes off as a jerk, especially in one of the tennis games where he purposely just grinds on Luigi's feet after he wins the gold trophy. So really, that's what I think's going on here. Let me know what you guys think. Do you think that Mario's been losing a whole lot of atmosphere specifically and that's why the games aren't as good, or do you think it's something else? Or do you think that the games are just absolutely fine and I'm a giant jerk? Let me know either way, guys. Oh, also, before I forget, this Saturday, on the 28th from about 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm gonna get some YouTube personalities together. We're talking Balrog the Master, Nintendo Fan for the Win, possibly Kerbifer, Super Psy Guy. I'm actually gonna get Chugga Conroy in, and we're gonna talk about all these Kickstarted games, whether they've been successfully kickstarted or they're still working on it. So we're talking stuff like Shantae Half Hero Genie, which by the way is almost completely kickstarted. You need to go help that out because it's an awesome sounding game. Mighty Number 9, which is still trying to hit its stretch goals, but also stuff like Rex Rocket, A Hat in Time, freaking River City Ransom Underground. There's a lot to talk about. Oh gosh, and Shovel Knight. There's a lot of games that are either in development right now that have been successfully kickstarted or they're still working on it, and we're all gonna get together and we're gonna talk about, how they affect us, how they affect the industry, and hopefully maybe we'll even have some devs there too. I know that Rob, the guy who made Rex Rocket, he wants to be there too. So don't forget, next Saturday, the 28th, 6 to 8 Eastern Standard Time. I hope to see you guys there. I'm gonna put a link to my Twitch in the description so you guys can find it, and I hope you all come out. So, until next time, this is Gaijin Goomba, signing out.